What actually shows up at airport security can be astonishing. From a fully loaded Glock 19 with 16 rounds, to a 5-inch live turtle tucked inside a towel, to meth artfully concealed inside a pair of crutches, these finds reveal just how surprising travel checkpoints can be. Now let's count down 25 of the most extraordinary real discoveries ever caught in airports. On January 29, 2025, TSA officers at San Luis Obispo County Regional Airport discovered a loaded Glock 19 handgun containing 16 rounds of ammunition inside a traveler's carry-on bag during routine X-ray screening, prompting immediate notification of the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Department. The passenger was later identified as an on-duty San Luis Obispo police officer who told authorities she had accidentally placed the firearm in her carry-on while preparing for a flight to Denver for an investigation. Deputies removed the gun, and after questioning and additional screening, the officer was allowed to continue traveling, but without the weapon. TSA emphasized that even law enforcement personnel must follow federal rules requiring all firearms to be unloaded, declared, secured in a locked hard-sided case, and placed in checked baggage, making the incident SBP's first firearm interception of 2025. Where are you from? Where do you live? Has your local airport ever had a strange discovery that made the news? Next, see what someone tried to hide in their pants. On March 7, 2025, a traveler from Pennsylvania passed through security at the Transportation Security Administration at Newark Liberty International Airport, New Jersey. A body scanner alarm sounded in the region of the man's groin. During the ensuing pat-down, a TSA officer determined something was concealed there. When asked, the man reached down the front of his pants and pulled out a live turtle, later identified as a roughly 5-inch red ear slider, wrapped in a small blue towel. The man was escorted out of the checkpoint, missed his flight, and the reptile was confiscated. TSA described this as the first known instance of someone concealing a live animal down the front of their pants at a U.S. checkpoint. The agency said, to the best of its knowledge, the man's actions did not harm the turtle, and turtles aren't the only strange thing travelers tuck away. Some bring objects that can shut down an entire checkpoint. On June 15, 2025, TSA officers at Detroit Metro Airport discovered what appeared to be a hand grenade inside a passenger's carry-on bag during routine screening. After inspection, the device was determined to be an inert grenade, meaning it contained no explosive material and posed no threat. Although no explosion risk was found, the incident caused a temporary shutdown of the checkpoint and likely delayed other passengers while the investigation proceeded. The TSA underscored that replicas or inert explosive devices, including grenades, are strictly prohibited in both checked and carry-on baggage. On a security screening at Portsmouth International Airport, TSA officers noticed an unusual mass inside a pair of crutches. When the crutches went through the X-ray machine, the image triggered further inspection. Upon secondary screening, they removed a small baggie wrapped with electrical tape and bundled with wrenches, used to support the crutches, and the baggie contained methamphetamine. The discovery was included on TSA's 2024 Top 10 Most Unusual Finds list, ranked as 4. According to reports, the meth had been artfully concealed inside the hollow tubes of the crutches, likely in an attempt to use the medical equipment as a cover. If you thought drugs in crutches were bold, this next smuggler tried something far noisier and feathered. In 2021, a 36-year-old man arriving from Guyana was stopped at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport after authorities discovered 35 live finches hidden in small plastic hair curlers that were strapped to his legs and concealed in his jacket. The curlers had mesh-covered openings to allow the birds to breathe during the journey. According to the criminal complaint, the man said he had been promised $3,000 to deliver the birds to someone in the United States, where finches are highly prized for underground singing competitions and can sell for large sums. He was charged with unlawful wildlife smuggling, a serious federal offense. The birds were seized by authorities, who have not publicly detailed their final disposition. In April 2010, 2 women, aged 44 and 66, were arrested at Liverpool John Lennon Airport after attempting to check in a 91-year-old deceased man for a flight to Berlin. The man, a German national, was seated in a wheelchair and wearing sunglasses, and the woman claimed he was merely asleep. Airport staff became suspicious when he appeared unresponsive, and authorities later determined that he had died the day before. The women were detained on suspicion of failing to notify of a death, as transporting a body requires proper documentation and procedures. The incident raised public concern about oversight in assisting passengers with limited mobility. Enjoyed the video? Don't just stop at the like button. Hit that hype when you watch on your phone too. It helps the channel out, and I'm excited to continue bringing you more awesome content. And next, see 4 suitcases packed with over 1,000 living creatures. In 2019, authorities at Manila's Ninoy Aquino International Airport uncovered a major wildlife smuggling attempt when 4 abandoned suitcases arriving from Hong Kong were found to contain 1,529 live turtles and tortoises. Many of the animals, including red-eared sliders, Indian star tortoises, red-footed tortoises, and African spurred tortoises, had been cruelly bound with duct tape and packed tightly inside the luggage. The reptiles, valued at roughly $86,000 on the black market, were believed to be destined for illegal sale as exotic pets. Customs officials turned the animals over to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Wildlife Traffic Monitoring Unit for care and rehabilitation. The incident highlighted ongoing challenges in combating wildlife trafficking in the Philippines and the broader region. In 2022, security officers at Boston Logan International Airport discovered a hidden blade inside a passenger's walking cane after it appeared suspicious on an X-ray screen. When questioned, the traveler claimed he had no idea the cane contained a concealed sword. TSA officers confiscated the item, and although the weapon was prohibited from being carried onto the aircraft, the passenger was permitted to continue with his trip. The incident served as another example of how innocuous-looking items can conceal dangerous components, and how routine screening helps prevent such objects from making it onto flights. Do you think the passenger should have been stopped from traveling after a sword was found inside his cane? Let us know in the comments below. In 2022, Indian customs officers at Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport stopped a passenger arriving from Abu Dhabi after discovering about 630 grams of gold hidden beneath his wig, a tactic intended to evade duty taxes. Officials noted that the man had even shaved part of his head to create space for the concealed metal. The gold, valued at roughly $36,000 at the time, was detected during routine screening, and the passenger was taken into custody. A similar smuggling method had been seen earlier in 2019 at Cochin International Airport, where another traveler attempted to hide over a kilogram of gold under a wig. These cases illustrate the unusual lengths smugglers may go to in an effort to bypass customs checks, and the effectiveness of airport screening procedures in uncovering such schemes. In 2022, TSA officers at Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International Airport discovered a handgun hidden inside a raw whole chicken during a routine scan of checked luggage. The firearm had been wrapped in packaging and stuffed into the cavity of the poultry, an attempt that TSA later highlighted with photos on social media. According to officials, the passenger was traveling to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and the weapon was intercepted during checked baggage screening rather than at a checkpoint. Although TSA did not release the traveler's identity or specify whether charges were filed, the gun was confiscated, and the agency used the incident to remind passengers that firearms must be transported unloaded, secured in a locked hard-sided case, and properly declared with the airline. This unusual concealment method was widely covered as an example of creative, but ultimately unsuccessful, smuggling. In August 2010, authorities at Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi International Airport uncovered a shocking case of wildlife smuggling, when X-ray screening of an oversized suitcase revealed a sedated 2-month-old tiger cub hidden among stuffed toy tigers. The luggage belonged to a 31-year-old Thai woman who had checked in for a flight to Iran. Customs officers found the cub dehydrated, exhausted, and in need of immediate medical attention. It was transferred to Thailand's Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation for treatment and care. The case became widely cited as an example of the extreme methods used in illegal wildlife trafficking, and highlighted the importance of airport screening in intercepting live animal smuggling attempts. In 2022, TSA officers at New York's JFK Airport discovered an unexpected stowaway when an X-ray scan of a checked suitcase revealed the outline of a live orange cat. Upon opening the bag, officers found the feline, later identified as Smells, nestled among the traveler's clothing and toiletries. The passenger told TSA he had no idea the cat was inside, and explained that it belonged to someone else in his household. Smells was unharmed and safely returned home, while the traveler continued on his trip to Florida without the unintended companion. The incident became widely publicized after TSA shared the X-ray images, highlighting how easily a curious pet can slip unnoticed into an open suitcase. In 2022, customs officers at Munich International Airport discovered a live albino alligator hidden inside a suitcase belonging to a 42-year-old American man who was preparing to fly from Munich to Singapore. The animal, approximately 1 meter long, not 1.5 feet, had been tightly wrapped in plastic wrap, with only its snout exposed, and was detected when an X-ray scan revealed the unusual shape inside the luggage. Veterinarians called to the scene reported that the alligator was in poor condition and close to suffocation due to the method of concealment. The reptile was transferred to a reptile rescue center for treatment, while authorities initiated criminal proceedings for violations of Germany's animal welfare and species protection laws. Although the man was not immediately jailed, he was required to post a substantial security deposit before being allowed to continue his journey. In 2005, customs officers at Melbourne Airport uncovered a highly unusual smuggling attempt when a 43-year-old woman arriving from Singapore was found carrying 51 live tropical fish hidden under her skirt. Officers became suspicious after hearing faint flipping sounds, and a search revealed a specially made apron worn beneath her clothing that held 15 water-filled plastic bags containing the fish. Among the species was at least one Asian arowana, a regulated and high-value ornamental fish. The woman, later identified as Sharon Nasmith, pleaded guilty to attempting to import wildlife illegally, and was ultimately sentenced to 9 months of community service rather than prison. The case became widely cited as one of Australia's strangest wildlife smuggling attempts. In 2022, TSA officers at Pittsburgh International Airport uncovered a small stash of marijuana after a jar of peanut butter in a traveler's luggage triggered an alarm during routine screening. Inside the jar, officers found 3 marijuana-filled vape canisters wrapped in plastic and embedded in the spread. According to TSA, the passenger claimed the cannabis was for medical use, but federal law prohibits traveling with marijuana in any form, regardless of state-level regulations. The vape cartridges were confiscated, and the case was referred to local law enforcement, though TSA did not release details on whether the traveler was charged. The unusual concealment method drew media attention as an example of how travelers attempt to hide prohibited substances, often unsuccessfully, within everyday food items. The Lobster luggage Lark. In 2017, TSA officers at Boston Logan International Airport were surprised to find a live 20-pound lobster inside a traveler's checked luggage. The crustacean was packed in a cooler and, according to TSA spokesperson Michael McCarthy, cooperated quite nicely with the screening process. While the discovery was unusual, it did not violate TSA rules. Live lobsters are permitted in both checked and carry-on luggage as long as they are secured in a clear, spill-proof container and can be properly inspected. After screening, the lobster was allowed to continue on its journey, making the incident a memorable example of the unexpected, yet perfectly legal items travelers sometimes bring through airport security. 17. The sneaky cash stash. In 2020, security officers at New Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport uncovered a highly unusual currency smuggling attempt when a 25-year-old passenger bound for Dubai was found carrying foreign currency hidden inside food items, including peanuts, sealed biscuit packets, and pieces of cooked meat. The smuggler had rolled various foreign notes, such as Saudi riyals, Qatari riyals, Kuwaiti dinars, and euros, and concealed them inside these everyday snacks in an effort to evade detection. The CISF intercepted the man during routine screening and recovered currency worth roughly $60,000 at that time, effectively stopping the scheme. The incident highlighted the increasingly creative methods used to move undeclared foreign cash out of the country and the vigilance required to detect such attempts. Fake pregnancy smuggling. One of the most unusual drug smuggling attempts occurred in 2013 at Bogotá's El Dorado International Airport, where authorities stopped a Canadian woman who was pretending to be pregnant. During a routine inspection, officers noticed that her baby bump felt unusually hard and cold. A closer examination revealed that the bulge was actually a latex prosthetic belly filled with roughly 2 kilograms of cocaine. The woman, identified as 28-year-old Tabitha Leah Ritchie, was arrested and faced drug trafficking charges that carried a possible prison sentence of up to 8 years. The case became widely reported as an example of the extreme lengths some smugglers will go to in their attempts to evade airport security. Drugs in the shoes. In 2022, authorities at Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport intercepted a woman attempting to smuggle approximately 2 kilograms of cocaine after receiving a tip-off about possible drug trafficking. During a detailed search, officers discovered the cocaine hidden inside special cavities in 2 pairs of shoes as well as inside her bags. The concealment method, designed to appear inconspicuous during routine screening, ultimately failed once security personnel conducted a targeted inspection. The woman was arrested, and the narcotics were seized by the Narcotics Control Bureau. While drug traffickers around the world frequently attempt to hide contraband in everyday objects, the Mumbai case stands on its own. Additional examples such as drugs hidden in soap bars or custom-lined clothing were not part of this incident. Knife blade hidden inside a laptop. In November 2022, at Richmond International Airport in Virginia, officers discovered a double-edged knife concealed inside the shell of a laptop during routine X-ray screening. After the bag alarmed, officers inspected each item individually and eventually opened the laptop, finding the blade hidden within its casing. The traveler initially denied knowing about the knife, but later admitted ownership once it was uncovered. TSA classified the concealment as an artfully concealed prohibited item, confiscated the knife, and imposed a civil penalty. Bobtail lizard smuggling. In 2017, authorities at Perth Airport in Western Australia intercepted a Japanese traveler attempting to smuggle 13 live bobtail lizards, also known as shingleback skinks, hidden inside cotton bags within his suitcase. The reptiles, 7 adults and 6 juveniles, are protected native wildlife and are frequently targeted by illegal traffickers because they can command high black market prices, sometimes reported as reaching up to $10,000 per animal overseas. The traveler was arrested under Australia's wildlife protection laws, and the case formed part of a broader crackdown on reptile smuggling. In a related prosecution, offenders involved in similar bobtail smuggling operations were later sentenced to prison. The incident underscored both the cruelty of wildlife trafficking and the strong legal measures Australia employs to protect its native species. 22. The Suitcase Stowaway. In 2015, Spanish border authorities at the Ceuta crossing discovered an 8-year-old boy from Côte d'Ivoire hidden inside a suitcase being carried by a 19-year-old woman attempting to smuggle him into Spanish territory. Officers became suspicious when the suitcase appeared unusually heavy during routine screening, and an X-ray scan revealed the curled-up child inside. The boy, later identified as Adu Atara, survived the ordeal and was placed in protective care. His father, who had been seeking legal residency for his son, was arrested but ultimately avoided prison after the court determined it had not been proven that he knew smugglers would hide the child inside a suitcase. He received a small administrative fine instead. 23. Live snakes were smuggled in pants. In April 2024, TSA officers at Miami International Airport made an unusual discovery when a passenger setting off a screening alarm was found to have a small bag of live snakes hidden inside his trousers. According to TSA and local media reports, the reptiles were concealed in a pouch resembling a sunglasses case. The snakes were promptly confiscated and turned over to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, while the passenger was denied boarding. Authorities did not release the man's identity, and public reports have not clarified whether he faced any criminal charges. The incident became widely covered as one of the year's strangest airport discoveries, underscoring the unpredictable lengths to which some travelers will go in attempting to transport animals. Vape pen concealed in toothpaste tube. In February 2024, TSA officers at Chicago Midway International Airport uncovered a vaping device that a traveler had attempted to hide inside a toothpaste tube. According to TSA and local news reports, the individual had wrapped the vape pen in foil and inserted it into the tube in an apparent effort to conceal it during screening. The item was detected during routine security procedures, confiscated, and the traveler was not allowed to bring it through the checkpoint. The passenger's identity and motive were not disclosed, and public reports do not indicate whether any charges were filed. The skull in the suitcase. In 2016, authorities at Rome's Fiumicino Airport detained a German professor after X-ray screening revealed a human skull inside his luggage. The man told police he had purchased the skull for $50 at a street market in Rome, believing it to be a legitimate anatomical specimen. Italian officials, however, informed him that transporting human remains without proper authorization is illegal. The skull was confiscated and sent to Italy's forensic police for analysis, and the professor was charged with illegal possession of human remains. Public reports do not indicate whether the skull was ever identified as an archaeological artifact, nor is there evidence that the market vendor was arrested. The case served as a reminder of the legal risks involved in buying or transporting human remains, even when the purchaser may believe the item is a harmless collectible. These 25 discoveries show how unpredictable airport security can be, even when many of the items appear normal from the outside. Each case offers a clear look at how officers around the world work to protect travelers, prevent illegal activity, and respond to situations that could easily be overlooked without careful screening. While the objects and animals found in these stories may seem unusual, they reveal a consistent truth about modern travel. Airports operate as the last checkpoint where rules, safety, and responsibility come together, and every intercepted item demonstrates why those procedures matter. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And if you want to discover the mysteries of countries around the world, check out my video about crazy things that only happen in Japan, where the government pays thousands of dollars for people to leave the country. Click on the card that appears on the screen now. Enjoy the video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.